Welcome to this event. I don't even know if we have a name for it. But it is a very unique event, something we have never done before. Obviously, a unique event for unique times. As you look at your students out there, and you don't see their bright, shining faces, you see, it's actually shocking to me to see just all these just mask-covered faces in uniform. I see it every single day, but to see it in uniform is very interesting. So what is today? Well, today is the culmination of sort of these alternative plans that we started talking about back in May, as we were trying to prepare for what this year would look like. Obviously, we had set up a traditional year. We had set up a traditional calendar. Unfortunately, as we know, that did not happen. That was not able to occur. So during the fall, instead of doing sort of our virtual band thing that we did in all of our other classes, for marching band, we took a really different path. And it laid the groundwork for what you're going to see tonight. So in the fall, we gave students the opportunity to sort of choose their own path and decide, well, do I want to learn about music arranging? Do I want to learn about drill writing? Do I want to learn more about how shows are adjudicated and choreography? So we gave them that opportunity, and students really dug in and they started to flourish and design some really great things in the fall. So that was the beginnings of what, like I said, what we're seeing tonight. As the year progressed, we still wanted to find a way to make a marching experience happen. We weren't sure when that was going to happen and if that was going to happen, and as soon as we got the go-ahead to bring students on campus, we were doing it. And many of you were supporters of us as we had a bit of a fight this year as far as our access to campus. So we're very thankful for those of you who spoke up and supported us. So here we are today, and everything you're going to see tonight is designed by students. And when I say unique, I can't think of any other school that I know of anywhere in the country that is doing this sort of thing. So this is a very special night. The amount of time that we have been together is relatively short. These students have put in a tremendous amount of work over a very short time. And typically the amount of hours probably equates to what we would typically do in a band camp. So this is kind of what you'll be seeing. It's our showcase, kind of like if we were starting our year, with as far as that amount of time and that amount of hours that we've been able to be together. And we've been out on this field, we've been out on the backfield with just some lights. Mr. Radant has a permanent spray paint indentation on his finger from painting lines out there every day. So there's been just crazy work from all parties that have gone into this project. So I really hope that you enjoy what you see tonight, and I hope that you appreciate what you see tonight, because it is special. I mean, I look at this every time I've seen these students do this project. It's like, if I could have written like that when I was in high school, man, I'd be a heck of a lot better writer than I am right now. That's for sure. So, once again, this is an amazing endeavor taken on by these students. And enjoy. And our first show is on the field. I'm going to hand off. It's time to listen to somebody else talk for a second. Your new announcer, Mr. Jeffrey Radant.
So our first group is group 2. The reason why they're group 2 is just that's the number that it was the time we started doing it, right? So as we do this, if you guys can raise your hand on the field, and we talked about the idea or the understanding that these were written by the students. So here are the students that helped write this show. For music design, our music design staff was Isabella Toriani, Joseph Figueroa, Jason Garcia, and Bella Lee. Our visual designers were Jaden Ruth, Morgan Nicolette, Monty Lynn, and Kellen Indranus. And our staff, not only do we have all these separate groups, we actually split our entire staff up. And so all of our staff are responsible for just one of these groups. So this staff group is Miss Lindsay, led this ensemble. With the help of Mr. Alvarez, who I believe is, where'd he go? He's up there in the box. And of course on percussion, we are new percussion instructor, Mr. Holge. And Mr. Armstrong. So you guys ready for some marching band? Yeah. I think that's yes. All right, presenting their program, Celebration of the Night, KNIGHT Night. The San Marcos Band's program is proud to present Drum Major Johnny Bautista and Marching Band Group 2.
was Group 2. There will be a slight break in between each group as we reset our props, so hang in there.
You did a great job.
So, as we were putting these shows together, we set up a list of all of our props. These props were painstakingly and lovingly built by our parents over the years. We have an inventory. We try and keep everything that we do. And so the students had a long list of things that they could use and had free reign to choose what they wanted to set their entire set design. So as you move from show to show to show, you're going to see the field change, right? Now, these props in the back, anybody recognize those props?
We come in peace.
Yeah, those are the props from last year for our, or you too got from our Become Peace show, but they were red. So students came and repainted them to give themselves an ocean mountain scene. We've used some of our windows. You saw the chair from Nevermore. So kind of a history lesson in character. But in a typical year, which right now we are gearing up toward that, the KR machine, as it is to build and move to shows, is something that is massive. And we can only be successful with parent support. So usually, the students are getting ready to perform, they're focused on that, and we have an army of parents that are around to help us move props onto the field and off the field. In a typical field show, you have 4 minutes from the time they say end of the field till you can start. Now 4 minutes seems like a long time until you do it for the first time and have to time it, and then it seems like it's a really short amount of time. So I do want to thank all our parents over the years, but I also want to put it out there, those of us that are returning next year that have freshmen or sophomores or juniors, that we will need a great new batch of parent volunteers to help us on and off the field be successful. Let's see, Ryan, where are you at? Mr. Ryan Carpenter up front and Mr. Michael Lapkin. These are our VP coordinators for our equipment crew. So if that is something that seems interesting to you, you want to help us build and move stuff, those are the guys we talk to. We always love volunteers. Our next ensemble up is group number 1. Group number 1 was taught by Mr. Jacobson, who's in the back right now on the mat. Mr. Walsh is up there in the box. Once again, percussion by Mr. Holguin and Mr. Armstrong. And on to our design team, our student design team. On music design, we have Aiden Judd. Presenting their program, Masters of the Sea, the San Marcos Band's program is proud to present Drum Major Isabel Herrera and Marching Band Group 1.
So over the years, we've mentioned this many times as far as our history of this ensemble. But this is really one of the first times where you kind of get to see history on the field. As you're looking at these ensembles, it may not be the size that you're used to because these are groups of about 30 to 40. My first year here at San Marcos High School, this was the size of our ensemble. We had 30 students total in the entire program back in 2004. So it's very similar to where the program started, well, with me, where it started with me back then. It existed many years before that. But in 2004, that is when we moved away from being the Marching Knights and we became the Knight Regiment. New logo, new look, new name. And over the next 10 years, obviously, we went from 30 to nearly 300. We haven't quite crest that 300 mark. We've been awfully close over the last few years. Some of you may not know that over the past few years, as we've come very close to that 300 mark, we have been one of, if not the largest marching bands in Southern California and all of California as a whole. We've competed across the states with groups from San Diego to Orange County, all the way up to the Bay Area. We've been in national, regional competitions, and we've seen groups from as far away as North Carolina, and we've competed against grand champions from Indianapolis, and we've been able to hold our own against all these groups from across the country. And every year, we couldn't be more proud of what these students put on the field. And one of the things you may notice, Mr. Radant tasked me with random trivia, which I was not prepared for. Thank you, Mr. Radant. You will notice that as we change ensembles, we change the field, there is one thing that remains the same. The percussion section has learned all 3 shows and is performing all 3 shows tonight. And if you're interested in percussion, and if you're interested in jazz, it just happens that we happen to have a percussion and jazz concert on Thursday night. Yes. So our Jazz on the Green concert is going to be happening on Thursday night here in the quad. Just like the good old days, we'll be having the jazz band set up. We're including percussion ensemble in that evening. We're going to start around 5:30 on Thursday night in the quad. So if you're interested in jazz percussion, we'd love to see you. There was a staff oversight on the last group because there was a special part of that show that the other groups didn't utilize. There was color guard involved in that last show. I want to make sure we mention our color guard caption head, Miss Jackie Goldberg.
I can too.
And now they're warming up.
My butt is asleep.
No, that's why I didn't want to sit because I'm worried about my hip. Legs.
It wasn't very nautical based too, I'm not. Somebody come in peace.
Music designers, Ben Markowitz, Noinez and Evan Harold. Visual design, Amanda Nelson, Allison Farthing, and Becky Black. Staff for this group includes Mr. Radant and Mr. Paleo, as well as Mr. Holguin and myself on percussion. And now presenting their program, Curiosity. The San Marcos Band's program is proud to present Drum Major Daisy McWaters and Marching Band Group 3.
because it goes up.
Once again, thank you all for coming out tonight. It is so wonderful to see this many people out supporting us. This is our first sort of concert in about a year and a half, it seems like. So it really means a lot to have all of you guys here supporting us. And once again, for those of you who made your voices present when we needed it, thank you for that as well. So at this point, the students are gonna get out of uniform, pack everything up. Have a wonderful evening, and we hope to see you soon.
I just made my daughter like run.
Yeah, exactly. What are you talking about?